All right, and we are live. Oh, now I'm hearing myself. There we go. No, I'm still hearing myself in your speakers there. You want to turn that down a little bit?
Sure.
Sorry.
Uh, all right, you should be down pretty low now.
All right, there we go. All right, guys, I'm live with Damen Knight, co-owner of PSISTORM Gaming. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Having a little gin and tonic, a little relaxing after work.
It's the way to do it.
Right? I know it's not Friday yet, but you gotta treat every night like it is. You know, you gotta be able to unwind.
Exactly.
So yeah, appreciate you coming on and talking with me. So the whole premise for the show, for those that are watching and for you too, is to kind of spotlight people in the community that are very important that don't always get seen very much into the public eye, and it's kind of a chance just for you to interact and for the public to interact with you and kind of ask you some questions because. And maybe it's just because I've owned my own business before, but I find the business aspect of esports very, very interesting. And I just think it's something that there's no one better to talk to but like team owners, tournament organizers, people like that. So that's kind of the whole deal. But yeah, so let's just kind of get started, and as people roll in, we'll take chat questions. This is very chat interactive, so if as people pop in, we can give them a talk to. So the first thing I wanted to ask is how did you meet KJ? So where did that relationship first start?
So KJ and I are both really into cars, and we both lived out in Virginia. And I was at an event with some friends. I actually think it was like roller derby or something. And a friend of mine was just like, "Hey, you're into cars and StarCraft. I know this other guy who's also really into cars and StarCraft. You two should get together."
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was like getting ready to move to California, and I think I literally wound up meeting KJ the weekend before I moved to California. Like we got together at a like little cars and coffee event.
Yeah.
And just kind of stayed in touch from that, and eventually PSISTORM.
Yeah. So whose brainchild was it? Like, who was like, hey, like we should like start a team?
It was KJ's.
Okay.
He literally like messaged me on Skype one day and was like, "Hey, can we get on can we have a phone call?" Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. Probably wanted to
get
talk
on the
about
phone,
cars or
like,
something, right?
Hey, yeah. But he's just like, "Hey, thinking about putting together a StarCraft team. I want you to come on as one of the owners. Are you interested?"
Right. So what he's basically saying is like, hey, I could use some of your money. Why don't you? Right? Not exactly like that, but I'm sure that was involved. So you're really into cars and you're really into StarCraft. And I guess I don't know a whole lot about your StarCraft career. I mean, I know I've seen you play before, like at I think it was last PSISTORM Cup. I saw you like you were in the bracket and stuff. But so what kind of car do you drive? You said you're a car guy. What kind of car do you drive?
Right now, I have a Lexus RCF.
Okay, that's pretty nice. And now, what does KJ have right now? He's got the Porsche 911, right?
Yeah, he has a Porsche 911 that has a Corvette engine in it.
Okay.
And he just got a Ferrari 430 Scuderia.
Okay, that's right. That's right. I was asking him on car advice. I really am in love with the Alphas, and I can't decide if I want to get a 4C or the Quadra. Whatchamacallit?
I'd get the 4C.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I don't know. It's actually the background on my computer, so every day I have to like stare at it and stuff. I'm like, oh my god. He was on Twitter and he was talking and he was like, oh man, I can't decide which car I want. Like, should I get like this Ferrari? I'm like, god damn, I'm over here like deciding if I should get like a Volkswagen. Like, I wish I could have these types of problems. So I don't know. That's really cool though. So let's talk about a little about you in StarCraft. So how long have you been playing for?
I started playing during the Wings of Liberty beta for
Okay.
StarCraft 2, and I played Brood War in high school back when it came out.
Gotcha. Did you play on C Cup or did you play on Fish?
No, no, I had no idea that the competitive scene
Mm,
existed. I just kind of, played with my friends in high school on,
right.
little lands at school all the time.
Gotcha. I guess for reference to how old are you?
I am 34.
Okay, so that's not bad. I'm 25, and I get 34 a lot because of the beard. People always assume I'm much older, but you actually look much younger. Like people would probably think, you know, ages are reversed there.
I do get that quite a lot.
But that's because I also know you're like a fitness freak too, right? Like you do marathons and what? Not the Ironman or what's it called?
Yeah, I do
The
Spartans a
Spartan.
lot.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're like a health kind of a health nut, right?
See, I don't
And
I don't know that I would say that because I eat the worst things imaginable. But I try to exercise a lot.
right. I mean that helps. I mean when you do exercise a lot, you can kind of make up for that. When you're like me, it's just like you have to eat well all the time, otherwise you'll just gain up. So I used to, for those that don't know, I used to be really obese. Like I was over 350 pounds, 2 years ago. So like not healthy like at all. And I've actually lost over 100 pounds now,
Nice.
just through diet and exercise and mental fortitude of not being tempted and not breaking my strides. And it's amazing like I have my old driver's licenses that I've kept over the years, like from when I was like in school until I was like at my biggest until like right now, and you can just see like this massive like progress, obviously up first and then down. so
Dude, man, 100 pounds is crazy. That's really good.
so I'm hoping to lose another. Oh well, I'm 250 right now, so I want to get down. Well, I mean ultimately like 190, but I don't know if my body can actually like get that low, because I am very muscular now that I've been like working out a lot. So I don't know, but I'd like to be low 200s for sure, like maybe 210. So maybe you'll have to give me some pointers later on afterwards.
Definitely.
But yeah. Anyway, so kind of moving on. So you had played Brood War in high school, and I actually played Brood War on N64. I don't know if you knew that was a thing, but
I,
it
yes.
was, and it was awful. It was awful, and that's actually why I was hesitant to play StarCraft 2. I was like, oh man, I played StarCraft 1. It was terrible. So I was very hesitant. I was like, what do you mean it's on? What do you mean it's on computer? That was a console game. Like I didn't even know it was a PC game at the time. Like that's how long ago like it was that I had played it. But I'm glad I kind of got into it. So you had played in early beta, and then what race were you playing then?
I played Protoss.
Okay. And so you've been playing Protoss ever since?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say even StarCraft 1, man.
Mm.
Been all Protoss.
What was it about the Protoss that you kind of liked? Was it just like the aliens? They were like the advanced race.
Yeah, I mean, right, it was the super high tech, you know, cool looking aliens. I was into that.
Hmm.
And then with StarCraft 2, I just really loved the whole and this is gonna get me so much hate, but I really loved the warp gate mechanic.
Yeah, I love the warp gates. I think warp gates awesome. So I think okay. Here's what have said for a long time for things that need to happen. I thought it would be so cool if the warp prism, when it was in warp mode, also worked like the shield generator. So if you were within that little thing, you got buff shield. So you would have to snipe the warp prism first, otherwise everything would have like a buff shield. And like that sounds really OP, but at one point in time, like it could have been balanced, and it still could be, I guess. Like that might be like a good Widow Mind fix, but nerfing the Widow Mind just sounds better to me at this point, at least. But yeah, I'm the same. I've played Protoss, since Wings Beta as well, and I've never. I take that back. I played Zerg briefly, in Heart of the Swarm. That's just because I really liked the campaign. Actually, it kind of got me used to playing Zerg. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this, but I don't know. Protoss is kind of like, and people hate me for saying this, but it's kind of lazy. Like I feel like you just don't need to do as much. With Zerg, there's just so much to be doing, like spreading creep and injecting and all this other stuff. Overlord scouting, and like Protoss, like yeah, I watched that probe, or like I watched that warp prism go around, but I feel like overall there's just like a lot less to do. But it's a lot harder at the same time. I feel like in some aspects too, because you're dealing with weaker units that you need a better composition of.
Yep.
So I'm sure we'll both get some hate, but that's okay. So yeah, so you had been playing since Wings Beta. What was your highest achieved rank?
I've gotten Master League. I don't know. I think about 3 or 4 times now.
Got you. Did you ever break into GM?
No,
Never quite that good.
no, not even close.
Not even close. Okay, like the equivalent of maybe like Masters 3 now, like those other times.
Yeah, I mean, I got Masters once in Heart of the Swarm and twice in Wings of Liberty.
Okay,
Masters 3 being my most recent.
gotcha. Who's your most accomplished person you've beat, or like what, or who are you the most proud of that you've taken a game off of?
Oh, I mean, I took a game off of a GM who I feel really bad because I don't remember who it was, but I took a game off of a
Rip.
GM at the last PSISTORM Cup.
Okay, that's
Um,
sad that you don't remember who it was.
I do remember I took a game off of a Master League player at MLG Rally way back when, which was a big deal to me because that was my first ever map win at an MLG,
Okay.
and I was in Platinum League at the time,
Oh
and I took a
damn,
map off of a Master League player. I felt really
damn.
good about it.
Yeah, I would too. That's awesome. Um, I think that the last Ice Storms Cup, I think the person who showed up the most was I think it was Sugar, who was like on like the B team, right?
Yeah,
And he was beating like everyone. I think he ended up like in the round of 8 or something. Everyone's like, "What the hell? This is rigged. This is the
yeah,
ringer."
Sugar was killing it.
So, well, maybe we'll see him get upgraded to the A team here. I don't know. So, and it's funny too. Speaking of of other team players and stuff, we've had Migraine on the show before a couple times now. Then also we've had Penguin on. We'll have to get True on at some point. Maybe some of the other guys too. But I think when I was talking with Migraine James, he actually helped me. I was like when I came back from Hots, I kind of took a break in Hots when I came back for Wings, and I started like I don't know. I started actually back in Bronze, like all the way back because I like new units. My mechanics were awful, and I had worked my way back up to Platinum, and I won like a Proxy Tempest tournament or something when you guys were partnered with them. I don't know if you still are or not, but and I won coaching, from a GM, and it was James, and he showed me some stuff and he reviewed some of my games, and I actually ended up getting into Masters after his help. So, if nothing else, he is a wonderful teacher. So,
Nice.
but he's an all around good guy too. So I know I appreciate it. We want to get him back on the show, but he's been so busy. Talk about a hardworking guy. I mean, like he works a couple jobs, putting himself through grad school and stuff. So I mean that's like one of the hardest working people that I know just in general. So, but anyway, sorry to get off that high horse there. And I also kind of forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah. Being my highest rank I've ever achieved was also Masters, but never GM like Masters 3 during it was Masters 3 during the up curve that everyone had where everyone was much better than they should have been. So I took advantage. You can't take that away from me.
Yeah, I'm too slow to ever make it into Grandmaster. I think if I made it into Grandmaster, like people would just declare the game just done and like leave in mass exodus.
We need a David Kim please for that one. That's funny. Um, so you got what year was it that Sandstorm had officially started?
Oh man, I want to say
Like even the rough idea, like what year was it when KJ had called you?
yeah, I want to say it was like 2014. I think we're coming. I think this is our third year that we're working on. I think.
Okay, gotcha. So third year. And then who was the first official player signing?
Well, so it's kind of funny. We KJ wanted to start the team to specifically to sign one player,
Okay.
and he wound up not being the first player we signed.
Okay. Who was that player that you were after first?
Ender.
Ender. Okay, got you. And then who did you wind up with?
I think we wound up signing SWS before him, and maybe also Sleet, though Sleet was never technically pro.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. So and then at what point I don't know in your opinion do you think you like had made it? We're like a super competitive team. We have like really good players. Like when did you feel like we're like we're like there?
I mean, you never really feel like it. Like to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
obviously when True won WCS,
Right.
Montreal. that was kind of the holy crap, like we're actually legit now.
Right.
Um, like for me, that was probably it. Like I mean, we had obviously some amount of success before that. I mean, we won Dust League a
Right.
couple of times
Yeah. I mean,
and
it's
things
so
like that. But
important.
that was our first like really big
Right.
moment.
Right. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, that's the whole thing. You can't just come out of the gate and expect to win. GSL champions. You got to start somewhere. But that's really cool, though. It's not been that long, but I think in my mind, I think in a lot of people's mind, everyone kind of sees you taking place of what EG used to represent and like the North American community. Root is like really big too, and Root's been around. But Root also is like has like the OSC partnership, so like they're kind of like they're kind of like a global team, really. When you see like with what they do. I mean, you guys are really. I mean, obviously with True though, but you're still very focused like on the North American scene and doing things for it, like with like with the PSISTORM Cup and then also sponsoring like other just like more grassroots things. And I think that everyone kind of sees you guys like, okay, well they're stepping in, which is a good thing. Because if you remember like when EG was coming up, I mean everyone fucking loved EG. Everyone. I mean everyone loved In Control. Everyone loved Idra, Machine. All those guys. Really big names and still are. But now that they've gone, you're filling that void, kind of similar to what Pig did with Day 9,
Mm-hmm.
doing all the trainings and stuff, and it needs you need to fill a void, and you guys are doing it. And you guys are doing like an exceptional job too. Like I mean, you're kicking ass. You're making these excellent signings. The most recent two being Jon Snow, who we just saw win Philadelphia, and who I did a hype video for, which we both saw was pretty cool. But then Gumiho, and when we had interviewed him, like I think it was like a week before you guys had signed him, he's like, no teams have even talked to me. He'd like, I'm really hoping, like I'm trying to go, and he was like, I really want to go to IEM. Like he told me, he's like, that's my goal right now. He's like, I really want to do well at IEM. And then I see you guys pick him up, and then he's going to IEM. I'm like, well, he made it happen.
Yeah, I was really happy that we were able to put that together and make that work out.
Definitely, like a really good player, an all around nice guy, and I think he really rounds out the roster, for what you guys have and who you have right now too. How did that come together? Did you guys contact him? Did he contact you? How did that happen?
So I'm gonna give really all the credit to Penguin. He was, in general, as our player manager, he's very proactive about looking for talent for the team and
Right.
starting a lot of conversations. KJ and I obviously do that as well.
Right.
But for Gumio, Penguin was kind of all over it, talking to him, kind of seeing if there was possibility there that we could put together a deal that everyone would be happy with.
Right.
And then he kind of came to Penguin, then came to me and KJ and said, "Hey, I think we could do this."
Right.
Um,
He's kind of the guy, Penguin. Like I know he's a lot of go between a lot of the times, like for contract work and stuff, and making sure like players understand that he's like good. He's really someone that's good to have around because he really cares about the game. He cares about all the players, and he's definitely someone that's definitely worth having around. Kind of a smart ass, but it's all in good fun. So, and I know he's super competitive too, like to like a ridiculous level. Like he was telling me about how they basically had to force him off of StarCraft 2 Jeopardy because he kept winning, and they didn't want to have him on anymore. So they basically had forced him to get off. I don't know if you've heard that story, but you should ask him about it. It's pretty funny. But yeah, like I said, just great pickups, and like I said, just everything that you guys are doing for the community is just super cool, and I think everyone appreciates it, and I hope great things happen for you guys with all the new players and everything. That's something that I'm excited to see. That being said, so obviously we have IEM being the next biggest tournament. Who else are you guys sending? Are you sending anyone else besides Gumiho?
Yeah, True
That's right.
qualified, so he's in the round of 24, I think, right off the bat.
Did he qualify through EU qualifier? Do you remember?
I don't remember,
Okay,
honestly.
that's what I
I
was
think he
thinking.
qualified through the America one.
Okay, got it. So
Um,
Gumiho and True both of them are going. Anyone else?
yeah, we're also sending, I want to say Pili Pili
Pili,
into the open bracket.
right. Speaking of Pili, so I've played him before, and this is my most memorable moment in StarCraft. So I wound up against him in an open tournament, And I knew I had no fucking chance. I was like, great. Like, this is, like, over before it even started. And I was like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna rush him. I'm gonna cannon rush. And so I'm putting my probe in his base, and I'm like throwing down my first pile, and I'm about to throw down my first cannon. And I look at my base, and there's already a cannon in it. He had counter cannon rushed me better, and then beat me at my own game. And I was like, God damn it. So that was like my favorite and also like worst like favorite moment of StarCraft. But that's cool. That's cool. It'll be fun to see him out there. And then so after that, I think the next biggest thing is DreamHack Austin. Do you guys who are you planning on sending to that? Do you guys know yet?
We don't know yet. Honestly, we haven't talked about it a whole lot.
Sure. I mean, it is a little bit of ways. I think it's the end of April, so we have a ways to go. And I know that that's a little bit different. I mean, because I think they have like the open, like once you get there, you sign up and you're in the open bracket. So, I mean, anyway, I mean, we could both go down there and sign up if we really wanted to. So.
Yep, and well, right now the weekend before, right, is PSISTORM Cup 5.
Right. I was just gonna say that too. So yeah, that's gonna be like a busy, like 2 weeks for you guys, like everyone that's participating and everything. Are you gonna be flying out for that? Are you gonna be?
I am
out there for that. Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna. They want me to, or I'll be, I guess, hosting.
Oh, nice hosting. There we go. I like it. So along with that, so we're talking about PSISTORM in general and just tournaments and stuff. So let's talk about. Filthy Cup. Let's talk about like how that started, how you started, that in general, and then how we're bringing it back.
Sure. So I mean, right, God, it was a little over a year ago, and the NA scene was not great. Reddit was kind of full of posts bemoaning the lack of good NA events, and
dead game.
So I just kind of said, right, hey, I'll put on an NA event. Why not?
Right.
So I mean, that was kind of the idea behind it, right? Was, hey, I'm gonna run an NA event, and then what wound up happening basically immediately was everybody started going, hey, I want to play too. Mm-hmm. So we wound up changing it up a little bit so that the first 3 events would be NA only, and then we would have 1 global event.
Right.
And then 3 NA only events, and then 1 global event. The idea being that would then culminate in a big tournament of champions, where the winners of all the Filthy Cups would have a big tournament.
Right.
Unfortunately, around that time, we had a couple of issues. There was a last-minute WCS event that didn't get announced. I want to say it was Copa America got announced super last minute.
Yeah, it did. It was like that. I think it was like that at that beginning of that month, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to Mexico City. Here we go, boys.
So that kind of pushed back the first tournament of champions, and it wound up never happening again, just because around the same time I was doing. I was funding the event, obviously, but I was also doing a lot of the admin work and doing the observing and doing all of the production, every weekend for the event. And, while working a full-time job and, being married and doing all of the other life things, it just wound up, it was just too much of a time sink.
Gotcha. But now we're bringing it back. So what's changed? Is it just because you just found the more free time to do it now, or you're just making the time to do it now?
Neither. Basically, I really wanted to find a way to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So I managed to team up with the folks over at Gauntlet.
That's right. Gauntlet.
Who are great guys, right? And they're going to be handling the production and the observing. And I have some really great admins who I'll give a quick shout out to, a Scarecrow and Bloodwraith, who are basically making it so that I can, continue to fund the event and do a lot of the back end work, make sure all the pages are up and, the brackets and all of that. But I don't need to dedicate, 6 to 8 hours straight on one day every week just to making sure the event happens.
Right. Well, and you picked some good guys to do it. I mean, the Gauntlet crew obviously is awesome, and I've worked with them in the past before too. But their production value is literally next to none. The observing is top notch. Just everything those guys do is very on point, and that's who actually I did the first Toast Talks with was C-Tone, the owner of Gauntlet. And he was kind of like, I wanted to do things a little bit different and a little bit better, and he just expanded on that. That's what it was, better and higher quality, and they live up to that. So they're doing a nice job too. So yeah, you made a very good choice in teaming up with those guys.
Yep. Yeah, and we're still trying to see where it's going to go this year. Obviously, I'm still, we're at least starting out keeping it in the same sort of format. Though we are talking about, having when we want to still have that tournament of champions,
right?
Obviously, but we're talking about maybe having it so that the tournament of champions winner, maybe. This is not me announcing anything, right. But maybe. Gets travel paid for to the next PSISTORM Cup.
Ooh, that'd be a really good prize. I like that idea. I mean, it's a hard maybe, but I like that. I like the idea. Hard maybe.
It's one of those things where it's if it's an NA Cup,
right,
then that's fairly reasonable.
Sure.
If it's a more global thing, then
right.
that's a more expensive proposition.
A little bit. You better live in a very good hub. Let's put it that way. So. That's an awesome prize. I think that's something that's super worth playing for and stuff, and is a great incentive. Otherwise, besides kicking everyone else's ass. So, I thought you were gonna tell me it was gonna be a team sponsorship. Hey, maybe if it could maybe lead to that. I guess if it was some unknown player.
I was gonna say we would. I mean, I won't rule out that possibility.
Yeah,
but
you never know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's cool though. I like that. And it's always good. And I feel like. And maybe you feel this way too, but now especially, I feel like we're in a real renaissance for StarCraft 2, just as far as everything's going. I mean, the scene has gotten smaller. I won't argue that, and there's less people around. But I feel like we've really come together, and we realize like, hey, I can do this stuff. More people have just taken up those reins, and they're like, well, I want this to keep going, so I'm just going to take it upon myself. That's kind of like what we did with the show in general. Like when we first started, it was for the Chobo Team League. It was for the clan that we were in, and that's how it started. Actually, it was just based on that. And then we were also like, oh, we'll also cover some pro news and stuff. That'll be interesting, because no one does that right now. So we did 3 episodes that way, and then I posted to her. I'm like, hey, looking for some feedback, and the quality was complete horseshit. It was awful. I look back at those early episodes. I'm like, dear Lord in heaven, what the fuck was this? And Reddit took mercy on me. They really did. I was like, hey, look, I know this sucks. The quality, but what about the content? Let's just let's focus on the content. And they're like, okay, lose all that shit about the Chobo League. I don't care about that, but the pro stuff, that's good. You can expand on that. I was like, oh, hey, that's not bad feedback actually. So we just kind of tailored it to that. And, here we are now. We're interviewing some of the best Korean players and players in general, from all over the world. And it's something that's super awesome. When I first started, watching StarCraft 2 and following the pro scene in 2010. If I told myself hey, in 7 years you're going to be interviewing these people and talking to them and being friends with some of them, I would have thought you're fucking lying. Probably the same when you're like, hey, one day I'm going to own a StarCraft 2 team. You're like, that ain't going to happen. Those are pipe dreams.
Yep.
That's a waste of money. So okay. So speaking of waste of money, since you're married and so am I. So I feel this. Does your wife think that this kind of stuff is stupid and is a waste of time, or has she just gotten over it at this point where you're like, well, I'm just not going to stop doing it, so you might as well just get used to it?
So I mean, my wife works in the industry.
Okay.
So she's generally supportive. She jumps on the bandwagon with the dead game jokes, and
okay.
Tells me that we should play a game that could maybe make money.
Oh wow, that's brutal.
But no, she's very supportive.
That's good. Mine is the complete opposite, but she doesn't work in the industry, so. So you guys have a lot of animals, and I was telling you that we do too. Well, my wife's a vet tech, so that's what her passion is. Her passion is the animals, So she looks at this stuff, and it's it's stupid and it's a hobby, But when I try to tell her, I'm like, no, for real, things are going really well. We're interviewing this Korean player. She's like, cool. I do not care at all. Great. She just rolls her eyes constantly. So hopefully one of these days, when hopefully when and if we make it, it'll be one of those things where she's like, well, I guess it wasn't a waste of time. That's what I'm banking on. That's really what I want to hear her to say is, well, maybe it wasn't a waste of time. But everyone's got their passion, for whether it's cars or StarCraft, or both. You just kind of have to follow through on those types of things. So moving on. So what can you kind of tell me about like the future plans for PSISTORM? Like let's kind of like the general idea. Like what are you guys' general plans moving forward for
Oh
2017?
man, there's a limited amount, obviously, that I can
Right.
say.
Right.
Right. PSISTORM Cup 5 that's coming up is going to be a much bigger event
Right.
than our last ones. Right. I think we've announced it's going to be at least a $5,000 prize pool.
Right.
The location for it, I don't know what we've said yet, so I'll just say it's going to be huge.
Huge.
We have some great sponsors lined up for it. This is going to definitely be, for us at least, a much bigger thing
Right.
than we've done in the past.
So it's not at the cave though, then, right?
It's not at the cave.
Okay, got it. Are they
Um,
still helping out? Are they one of the sponsors?
the cave's definitely still helping out. I don't know if they're like an official sponsor of the event. They're definitely still at least involved.
Gotcha.
Right, they're our go-to guys. We have a great
Right.
relationship with them.
Right.
We're kind of experimenting a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and if this goes well, honestly, we want to keep doing bigger and bigger events.
Right.
We're kind of purposefully limiting ourselves
Mm-hmm.
for this one. Like we don't want to go over $10,000 for the prize pool because then we have to start like getting Blizzard involved. We're like consciously keeping our prize pool under that.
Right. Right. That makes sense. You don't want them to get involved just yet. Let's wait a little bit. That makes sense. Well, if you guys get bought up by the Redskins, that'll be the next thing. We see all this news of these pro teams buying up esports teams. Which here's something that I don't know. Are you much of another sport kind of guy? Like I'm a real big football guy myself. Do you watch other sports?
I don't really, but I mean I used to. I'm pretty
Okay.
familiar with them.
Sure. Well, where I'm going with this isn't super relevant, but I like. So, for example, like when Misfits signed with like the Heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I loved the Heat fans were all like, "Oh, that's not real. That's not a sport. This is still esports. What is this? Is nonsense, And it's like, well, it's basically as long as you can play competitively, it's a sport. It can be a sport no matter what, as long as it's competitive, right? Chess is competitive. Chess is technically a sport. Any game that you can play competitively, sport. But then, it's funny though because then when I see like the opposite happen too, it's like during the Super Bowl was the worst. Like all the nerds were like, sports. Oh, this is so stupid. It's like, oh my god, guys, like, do you not realize that you're living this double standard? Like you're doing it to yourselves. Like they have a passion for it, just like you have a passion for it. Like this is why you need to get along. Like if you want good relationships, like get along. And luckily, some of these sports owners and these team owners can obviously just, like see past that. They can see the potential, in earnings. But do you just, like sponsorships and how many fans support these teams? I mean, Jesus, when you look at like Faker, streams on Twitch for the very first time and gets 200,000 people watching him, and the audio was awful. It was just the most gargled like piece of shit like can't like microphone ever. And you still have 200,000 people watching that. I mean, it's impressive. I don't know that I would watch Tom Brady talk at a press conference if the audio quality was like that. I might just turn the channel. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'd have to see it happen. But anyway, so kind of moving on past that. So what else is coming up besides PSISTORM Cup? Can you tell me anything else?
So I mean, right? Obviously, we're not. I can't tease any upcoming new players.
But you're saying there are players that you're looking at.
I'm not saying that.
But you're not saying that.
As far as I know, we're not talking to anybody right now.
What about any B teamers? What about anyone on the in the academy right now? Is anyone catching your eye?
Do you mean for new players or for people to maybe move up?
People to maybe move up.
I think Disc is showing a lot of potential.
Okay.
And Hefe as well, or they're both doing really, really well lately. I'd keep an eye on them. I don't know yet if they're they've got
Right.
it, but I think they might.
Right. We might find out here soon. With everything coming up.
We might.
So if Sugar kept playing like he did at the last PSISTORM Cup, I mean he could have a shot. So Sugar, you gotta get on that. Also, I know that was Warren was doing pretty good there for a while too, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Warren has he's kind of streaky.
Streaky, yeah. So, well, that comes and goes, but that's what separates really great players and just your average good players. Kind of like even like what we saw with Zest. He was losing just a ton. It's like he's just got to get his shit figured out, and then obviously he did. Because he's winning again. But it's like you can't let that just tilt you like off the planet. Like you can't just be like uninstall game. You gotta collect yourself and I think someone Nero's got like the best mindset of obviously like anyone. Just like you just look at it analytically and don't let your emotions get involved like at all. And that's hard for most of us because it's super emotional. Especially when you're at tournaments and stuff and money's on the line and people are watching. Emotions run high. So but it's all about kind of powering through that. Blocking it
I'm
out.
not gonna lie, I 100% uninstalled the game the other week. I haven't reinstalled it again yet. It's gonna happen soon.
Oh wow! Well, did you just get tilted, or what happened
Oh
there?
yeah, I just got super tilted.
Who did you lose to? Was it anyone, or just random?
It was just laddering. Like I mean, again, right? I'm Protoss. We're
Yeah,
feeling a lot of pain right now. And
yeah. I haven't. Well, see, I'm the worst type of Protoss player because I've been cheesing since Wings of Liberty, and that's just how I like to play. Like I just like and sometimes it's cheesy and sometimes it's just really aggressive. Sometimes I'll just do like a like a 3 gate pressure, into an expansion, and I'll be like, oh shit, if I just cancel this expansion and build more stalkers, like I'll just win. And they're like, oh, way to all in. It's like, well, I didn't intend to, but you suck so much that you gave me the opportunity to win. So, but no, I'll be the first to admit that I love to play the game as short as possible. The shorter the match, the better. So I'm all about collecting the salt. But well, yeah, what I guess what is your play style then? Do you play a more macro oriented game or what's your preferred style?
I mean, it varies, right? So I'm, as I think I mentioned, right? I'm really slow. I've been a Master League player with 60 APM.
Right.
So I mean, right? I tend to just have really really crisp builds.
Right.
I have a go-to build, and I just work on executing that. So PVZ, back in the day, I did Immortal Sentry, then I moved to Immortal Zealot. Now then I moved to Immortal Adept.
Right.
2 base all ends. Lately, I've been going, Sky Toss because
Why
that's
not?
how you win.
Right. Exactly.
Against Terran, I basically the moment there are Liberators out, I GG. So terribly cheesy stuff like proxy robos, proxy dark shrines.
Yeah.
Just try to get the game ended as fast as possible.
Yeah. I've got a good one versus Terran. I have a 95% win rate. It's you proxy 2 your gates and then your Stargate, and then you do 2 oracles. 2 oracles and then stalkers. It's really gas heavy. But then once you get that, you just go. So your first oracle does the revelation to see if there's any widow mines, and if there's less than 3, you'll just win. And what you do is you don't attack the mineral line. You just kill the marines that are at the front. Because if you have like 5 stalkers and like two oracles, you're just gonna murder everything. Especially if there's no widow mines, or if they don't have the bunker ready yet. And then you just kill them as they come out, and it's like, all right, well, even though you have, you wasted the money for this missile turret, it's going to be useless because I'm not gonna go directly, and I'm going to kill your units first. And it's super effective, and we're kind of around the same level, so you should try it. It does work really well. Obviously, if you get like 3 Rex Reaper, which isn't super common, but that'll beat you. Or if they just go super heavy, like on the Widow Mines, that can kill you too. So, but it works pretty well. What about for PvP then? What's your go-to for PvP?
Man, I just don't really have one. Like PvP's rough. I've been playing a lot of Sky Toss in PvP lately. Just trying to see if I can make it work.
Yeah.
Wildly varying success, right? And the problem is, like, at my heart, I want to play a macro game. So, right, Sky Toss is nice, right? It encourages the macro game.
Right, because you got to get there first.
Yeah, it's that getting there that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite is during the beta, and even for a while after, I had this one build that I did in every matchup. that was stupid but like worked, which was just mass sentry into carrier.
Message. Just keep them out of the base.
Well, so basically, what you do is every time they would attack you,
Yeah.
you would hallucinate about a billion Colossus,
Okay.
and they couldn't target fire the carriers around the Colossus.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I can see that working. I can see why that would work. I
I
like
was
it.
I was pretty I was like high diamond one with that for the longest time.
That reminds me of like the most one of my other most memorable games is, I'm trying to remember. I think it was on Frozen Temple. I know it was on, what was the other one? Not Frozen Temple. It was it was just Frost, right? It was on Frost LE, and I was playing in a tournament. It was best of 5. It was the last game we were both 2-2, and it was a PvP, and he was playing random though. But we were playing in a PvP, and he'd went Dark Templar, and I had went Disruptor Tech. When we were going back and forth, and I had observers and stuff. And finally, it came down to it where like he had killed like all my probes in my base, and I was like, oh shit, like I have nothing left. But he didn't have anything left either. Like he had like maybe 2 or 3 DTs, and that was it. So I had quite a few sentries left, and so like half my army was hallucinated, um, and then the other half was just like disruptors. And I went in for a final attack, and like yeah, it was just like I killed off his army, and I ended up killing like I was killing like his disruptors with my sentries. And then he just GG'd because there was like no minerals left. But it was like insane just because like half the army was hallucinated. It was like, oh my god! And I remember like going back and like watching the cast, like, what the hell is like he's half his army is hallucinated, and it was funny too because the hallucinated is what took like his disruptor shots. So I was like, all right, then go sentries, just hurry up and tickle those disruptors to death. So it was probably my most memorable. But it's games like that are like super intense. That are like especially when you win, that are your favorites. But yeah, I think my go-to right now in PvP is still just the proxy robo. Just all reliable. You get that immortal out first, and you get the stalkers, snipe the mothership, and then just win.
Yep.
Maybe a gas steal if you can do it. Just get in there and steal the gas. Do a double gas steal if they're really slow, and then just all in. That's another good go-to. So I don't know. That's what I like to
You're a
do.
terrible man.
I know I can't help it. Like that's just it's. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sadist. I just like to to make other people salty. Can't help it though. Um. But yeah. Anyway, so kind of just moving on and moving forward. So we kind of talked about the history in general. So and you kind of told us you can't really tell us anything about any players or anything like that. But you kind of gave us a little hint at what B teamers are to kind of look out for. Um. And moved forward towards now. Have you guys made any other like arrangements? Um, I guess I kind of already asked the question. What was I trying to say? Um, I guess do you have any other like expansion plans that are not tournament based and not player based? Like, are you planning on like expanding the brand and like into anything else?
I mean, right? Obviously, we do have some involvement, at least a little bit, in some other games,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have an amateur CS:GO team. We've had some pretty good heroes teams in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have a Hearthstone player. We're kind of always keeping our eye out on, to see if it makes sense to move into
Sure.
any other games. Right, obviously with the new Overwatch
Right.
franchise system that Blizzard's talking about, we're keeping a pretty close eye on that. Um, the problem at the end of the day is, right, we aren't just going to move into a game because it's popular. We
Mm-hmm.
want to stick to games that we have passion for, right? If
Right.
we if you don't have the passion for the game, we're just not going to do a very good job running
Right.
that team.
Right. No, 100%. And I get it. That's why you wanted to start a StarCraft 2 team. Is because that's what you had passion for, and regardless of whether it can be successful, it's a passion, and you hope for the best, but at the end of the day, you do it because you love it. You know.
Yeah, I will say, I think again, this is not a guarantee, but I wouldn't be surprised if at PSISTORM Cup 5 you see maybe a small Smash area set up.
Nice. Smash Smash is a very small community, but it's a very good community. You know, everyone in that, it's kind of like where StarCraft is going. You know, it's like everyone's just kind of, you already know each other. You know, it's like, oh, you know, everyone that's still around is who's always going to be around. You know, but I think all we got to do is just get, you know, starting to get this younger generation to play StarCraft. You know, um, and I think the best way to do that is just tell them that they can't do it. You know, it's like, oh, you're not good enough. You know, you can't do that. You could never play. This game is too hard for you to play. You
I'll
know,
be honest. My debate right now is if I want to see us branch back out into maybe Brood War.
yeah, that's very interesting. But you know, Brood War is also going through a really good resurgence right now. You know, there's a lot of players. You know, there's a lot of people watching it, but there's even more people playing it. And now we have Afrika sponsoring like another Brood War tournament. Not the ASL though. I think it's a totally separate one from that. So you know, but they're, you know, plans on that. So I mean, it's amazing that, you know, like that game can still be around. You know, I think Taste on our Toast said, you know, people were telling us in, you know, 2007 that was a dead game. You know, and we're still playing that now too. You know, and StarCraft isn't going anywhere. You know, StarCraft 2 isn't going anywhere. You know, it might get smaller, but it's not going anywhere. It's already solidified itself. You know, everyone knows that this is the hardest, you know, 1v1 game, and if you have skill, you play StarCraft 2. So that's pretty much all I have for you, unless you guys have any plans of acquiring a talk show.
I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough.
I would lie if I said that it isn't a thought that we've had, but no, I would say you could probably expect to see a lot more content in general
Sure.
from us. We're as we grow up, right, as a
Hmm.
team, we'll be pushing our guys to try to stream more,
Sure.
to interact with the fans and the community more.
Yeah.
Get more video content made, all that good
Yeah.
stuff to just kind of help get us out there and in people's minds.
Absolutely. And I would think one thing here, and I don't want this to sound like advice because obviously you know this much better than I do because you run a team and I don't. But I think one of the things that made people love EG so much was because they had that content. You know, I remember they would just make videos of them going to the gym, you know, and just working out. But it was interesting. You know, it's like, oh man, like I want to see how much weight, you know, in control can bench press. You know, I think just videos of the guys hanging out and like, you know, KJ driving around in the cars and stuff. You know, it's just it lets them be closer to the players. You know, it's like I can see them when they're just not behind the keyboard and the mouse. You know, like what are the other activities that they like to do? And I think, you know, another good piece of content that did that was those WCS Signature Series videos. You know, it's like, okay, we have like, you know, we saw, you know, the dudes like playing soccer and stuff. Like Sis was playing soccer, and you know, we were talking about like True and like you know, you guys are trying to get him to do other stuff, new experiences. You know, like driving and swimming and stuff, other stuff. You know, it's like, look, you know, branch yourself out. You know, open yourself up. You know, and I think that's what people really like to see. And like I said, I think that's one of the reasons why EG was so successful, was just because they had such user-friendly content. You know, I think for a couple of their streams, they kind of did like what KJ does, where he kind of sets up his stream to see everyone else. You know, I think they used to do that. They used to have like when they were out at the Phoenix house, they used to just have that the webcam that just kind of like showed everyone. It was just like the EG house cam. It's like, oh, it's just everyone. You know, and there would always be like like at least like 10,000 people watching that. You know, it's like it's, you know, just watching everyone. So, but
Yeah, I would not be
it's just
surprised,
cool.
especially now that Twitch has kind of opened up streaming to more than just gaming.
Hmm.
I would not be surprised to see a lot of our guys doing fitness streams. You're going to start seeing me doing fitness streams
Some
when I'm
fitness
not
streaming.
gaming.
Gotcha.
Um,
Any cooking streams? Is anyone in the house at the team house a good cooker?
oh man, maybe we can stream. She's apparently quite the chef, but I
Your
don't think
your
otherwise.
mic cut out. Who is it?
KJ's wife.
Oh, KJ's wife. Okay, she's a cooker.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Gotcha.
think the rest of us are too talented at that though.
No, maybe watch Penguin make some ramen noodles. You know, boil some water, light a fire. Who knows? You know, shenanigans might ensue. We never know. So, but yeah, man, like I said, that's pretty much all I got you. I wanted to thank you for coming on the show and kind of talking with us, and you know, and with the community. I know we didn't get a ton of people watching, but we had some pretty stiff competition with Scarlett's 24-hour stream still going. But you know, there's still the VOD, you know, to get out there and stuff, and I think people will want to watch this. Obviously, like once there's just not other stuff happening. There's just so much shenanigans that have been going on during that stream that I can't really blame anyone for wanting to tune in to that too.
It's my pretty face is just only so much competition for Scarlet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Sugar stayed the entire time. Yeah, he watched the whole thing. So he was he's trying to I think he's just trying to suck up though. He's like, well, I watched the whole thing. I'm better than Warren, so I mean clearly I should be the one, that comes up to the A team if anyone. So, but yeah, did you want to give any shout outs or anything else here before I let you go?
Absolutely. Obviously, got to give a big shout out to KJ, my fellow team owner, and everyone who's part of the PSISTORM organization. We do this for those guys. KJ and I do this for all those guys, and for the community in general. We love you guys, or we wouldn't do it. So thank you all for supporting us, and of course, thank you for having me
Absolutely.
on. It's been great chatting with you.
It was a pleasure, man. It's good. It's been good to get to know you. So like I said, since we've had a couple of the players on here, so it's kind of good to get to know you, a little bit better. And hopefully I'll see you around. Like I said, I'll be traveling to Austin. I'm hoping to do maybe some player interviews when I'm down there. To see what's up. Maybe we'll figure it out when we get there.
Definitely, man.
But that's all I got for everyone. So have a good night and enjoy Scarlet Stream there, Sugar. Thanks for watching, man. Take it easy.